And you don't need anything for this class except maybe a blanket or a cushion to sit on at some stage. And we're going to start the class lying on our backs. You could have your knees bent with your feet on the floor, or you could have your legs extended completely. So we just take a few moments to settle and to notice what's here. You might just have tumbled out of bed and feel a bit groggy. You might have already been for a morning run or something else. Just taking a few moments to feel the floor beneath you. To maybe turn your attention out to the sounds of the morning. Maybe sounds closer to you, like your own digestion. Perhaps your heart beating. And noticing how your body's feeling. Are there any areas of stiffness or tiredness, or maybe you've woken up feeling as light as a cloud? Noticing the sensations of a natural breath, not trying to change anything right now. And just for a moment, really dropping your attention into the contact between your body and the surface beneath you. Just noticing areas that spread into your mat and areas that feel a little bit more tentative or raised up away from the mat a little. Noticing if there's any difference between the left side and the right side of your body in terms of how you settle towards the floor. And then if you would like to, giving yourself the opportunity to set yourself an intention for your practice, maybe for your day, this bank holiday, maybe for your week. An intention that is born from the heart and develops over time. If something has come to you, allow it to drift into every cell of your body. And then please bring both feet to standing on the floor if they're not there already. And you could have your arms by your sides. I'm taking my arms into cactus arms because that's just very comfortable for me, but I would only like you to take your arms where you feel comfortable. And take time to arrange your feet so that you can feel a real sense of ease in the pelvis. A real sense of ease in the lower back. Once you've settled here, I'd like you to visualize the back of your pelvis as the face of a clock. So at the top of your pelvis, before the spine begins to emerge, you have the number 12. And at the tailbone, you have the number 6. And on the right side of your pelvis, you have number 9. And on the left side, the number 3. And then when you're ready, very gently, without any sense of force, you're going to begin to roll the pelvis from 12 to 6. And then back again from 6 to 12. So effectively, you're tilting your pelvis forwards over the tailbone, creating a little tunnel perhaps in your lower back. You could even take your hand to sense how high that tunnel is. And then you're tilting the pelvis back, maybe feeling your feet pressing into the floor. As your back flattens and maybe your tailbone peels off the floor a tiny bit. And continuing with this very gentle tilting of your pelvis, soft and easy. Noticing how the ripple of the pelvis might travel further up the spine. You might feel it in your head, all the while softening and softening the body. Noticing if there's an ease to this movement this morning, and it'll be different every day. Or maybe if you're finding you're getting caught up every now and again, maybe there's even some discomfort. And then allowing your pelvis to settle again. And visualizing the horizontal line across your pelvis from 9 to 3. And beginning to tilt the pelvis along this axis. And you might find to do this, I'm going to allow you time to organize yourselves, but you might find that as you do this, as you arrange the body, that you press into one foot to tilt the pelvis to the left. You press in one foot to tilt the pelvis to the right. If you had your pelvis full of water like a bowl, which it actually is, the water would be sloshing from side to side. And you might notice that your buttock and hip, maybe even a vertebra or two, peels off the floor. You might feel as if you're marching on your feet, very lightly. Releasing in the jaw and the throat. And just noticing what your urge is. Are you finding yourself moving fast from side to side? I'm finding I'm doing that, for example. I don't know why. Or are you taking it really slowly? And as I began to slow down, suddenly it felt a lot more soothing, a lot more nourishing. And then allowing the pelvis to settle. And just taking 1 or 2 rounds of the 12 to 6 again, just to feel the freedom maybe that you've liberated in the pelvis. And at some point, as you flatten your back and you press into your feet, begin to peel off the tailbone, peel off the pelvis. We're not coming up high, not actually really lifting any vertebrae here, but just allowing the pelvis to dangle, to hang like a hammock. And you might notice as you do this, see if you notice how the muscles at the front of your hips, these are a set of hip flexors, actually soften and release as you allow your pelvis to dangle ever so slightly. Breathe. And then very gently allow your sacrum, the back of your pelvis, to meet the floor again. And just for a moment, allow both legs to slide long, arms by your sides. Just to feel the body here. And then in your own time, in your own way, please rolling over and coming to a child's pose. And you could have your knees wide apart, you could have your knees together. But I would like you to settle your head onto a surface. So if it doesn't meet the floor, making a pillow with your hands. And as you come into child, which is a deceptive pose, it might feel simple, actually notice if there's any part of you that feels tight right now, and it might be your wrists or your hands, back of your ribs, your shoulders. And take time to soften towards the floor, really increasingly heavy, as you come into your own stillness. Can you become a little softer? Might you be able to feel your body breathing? Fabulous. And then please meet me up on all fours. For this class, actually, at some stage, you might need a blanket to cushion your knees, but not just now, because we're going to curl our toes under Take the bottom back to the heels. Feel a little stretch in the toes and the feet. As you just allow your head to dangle between your arms are straight. Maybe you spread your fingers a little. And just allowing a quietness in the ribs, quietness in the shoulders. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift your knees only about 5 centimeters off the floor, just to notice how doing this changes the quality of your experience. Holding here, and then lowering your knees again. Noticing how different it feels to have the knees supported on the floor. And then try that again. Just a little lift, about 5 centimeters. Notice how even your breath might change. It's quite hard. I find it really hard work, by the way, to do this. Notice where the work's happening. And then release the knees back down as you soften. Such a relief, isn't it? And then next time you lift your knees, you're going to gently unfold, lifting your bottom, unfolding your legs. Maybe you don't straighten your legs the first time, lowering your heels towards the mat, but they don't need to meet the mat. And then you gently bend your knees again, lift your heels, come all the way down. So I'll leave you to do this a few times. If it gets tiring, which it might well do, you rest in child and then you start again when you want to. Try not to hold your breath. Slowly unfolding. If it just feels too much this morning, you could do a cat-cow movement instead. And if this is something that doesn't come to you immediately, it's definitely a way of coming into downward dog that improves over time. So if you can be patient with yourself and just see if you can lift a little, because we're asking the legs to be super strong. And of course, if you just love it once you're up here and you don't want to come down again, take a few breaths and walk out your dog. Do whatever you want to in your dog, actually. You might want to twist from side to side. That's what I feel like doing this morning. You might want to walk it out. You might want to lift one leg, open a hip. I'll leave you to decide exactly what you want to do. Full breaths as you feel your body alive this morning. This quite energizing pose. And then taking a full breath in. And as you breathe out, please come back down again. And arrange yourself in a seat. So you might want to sit on a cushion. You could sit on a chair. Sit on a blanket. And I'm coming into a cross-legged position. If that's possible for you, please do so. And take a few moments once you're there to settle into the base of your body. Really dropping through the hips, feeling the sitting bones. You can wriggle around a little bit. You could even allow your side waists to slump back a little so you're not over rigid in the spine. And then please bring your hands so that the tips of the middle fingers maybe touch down beneath your belly, if that's where they settle, as if you're receiving something. Also, you could have your fingers apart, that's okay. And if you're happy with this, closing your eyes. Allowing your shoulders to soften away from the ears. Your wrists to soften. Aware of the stream of your spine from the base of your body up to the top. And aware of the quality of your breath. And then when you're ready, taking as many breaths as you want to, or possibly doing this with one inhale and one exhale, beginning to lift your hands up the front of your body. Imagine you have a ball of light in your hands, coming up past the solar plexus, past the heart and the throat, space between your eyebrows. And as you come to the top of your head, flip your hands around so that the palms are facing down and begin to draw this ball down the front of the body. Prana Mudra. Really soften all the joints of your hands and arms. And I'm going to leave you to continue this Prana Mudra a few rounds with the invitation to just notice if there's any change in sensation or maybe even energetic quality as you lift and you descend. Remembering to breathe freely. And the next time your hands come back down into your lap, letting everything go. Just taking time, maybe with your palms facing up, thumbs and forefingers lightly touching. Simply notice how you feel. And then opening your eyes, please changing the cross of your legs. You might now, if you're on a big cushion or a big block, you might want to come off. But if you need the support, that's also fine. And again, regaining that contact with the floor and taking your fingertips down to the side of the body. So we have a real sense this morning of, well, I'm encouraging this, I think, a sense of connection with the surface beneath us, but this also sense of lifting up out of that connection. And so feeling that contact through your right fingers as you inhale and float the left arm up. And exhale, come over a little to the right, dropping through the left hip. And then as you inhale, float your way up again. And exhale, left fingers come down. And then we take the other side, slowly feeling into the side of the body, dropping into the hips. Continue at your own pace, feeling what you need to feel. Trying to synchronize the movement with the breath, exhaling to come over to the side, inhaling to come up to the top. And when you've taken your last side bend over to the left, making it your last one, and coming up to the top, noticing how you feel, maybe rolling your shoulders. And then bringing your hands to your heart. And on a breath in, lifting all the way up. And as you exhale, rotating to the right, bringing your left hand to the right knee, the right hand behind you to give you a little bit of support as you lift up. And then as you inhale, coming back, hands to the heart as you lift up. And exhale, twisting to the left. And take a few rounds and try not to make this a mechanical movement. Try to use the breath and the movement to really feel into what's here this morning. If you find you get over to one side and you want to stay there and wriggle rather than to keep moving, do that. Do that thing. And breathe freely. You look beautiful, Monica, Gila. I can't see you, Margaret, but I'm sure you look beautiful as well. Oh, Will is the most beautiful. Of course. This is going on YouTube. When you are next over, twisting to the left, making this your last time. And you come back to the front. This time as you come down, can you release your feet out in front of you and come into a little butterfly? Your feet can be quite far away from your groin. As you give yourself a little bit of time to soften into the hips and open into the back of the body. Really soften the neck and the jaws. And breathe. Instinctively feel it. It's good to roll the shoulders in one direction and then in the other direction. Let's come to the top of a breath in and pause. And on the exhale, opening your mouth. Please take 2 more like that. And then when you're ready, a little bit of engagement in the abdomen to come up bone by bone, bringing your head last. And then we're going to move, you can bring your knees together, and we're going to move onto our knees again. This time, the right foot forward. So take your time. We've got right angles here in the knee, both knees, front knee over the ankle. And of course, cushion the back knee if you need to. And take a little bit of time to stabilize through that front foot. Really feel the footprint, arms by your sides. And we're going to imagine that we're trying to reach a beautiful beach ball, or maybe trying to reach the sun. As you gently float your arms up, maybe they come a little way behind you. And your pelvis will move forwards. We're not forcing this. And then gently come back. So we're moving the pelvis and moving the legs as the arms float up and as they come back down. Allow your body to move gracefully, consciously with the breath. Lovely. Just taking one more. And then coming back with your arms by your sides. And you're going to take your arms out wide, palms facing down. And turn your palms to face behind you as you bring the backs of your hands to your ribs. Now, if you can't do this with both arms, which might be possible, might be true, just do it with one arm. That's fine. And some of you might be able to turn the fingers upwards as you come into very open reverse prayer. Doesn't matter, we're going to move to help introduce a bit of movement, a bit more flexibility here, maybe in the wrists and the shoulders. So a bit like you did with the beach ball, you're going to allow the pelvis to move forwards and notice how your shoulder blades maybe press onto your hands, maybe bring your palms together. But then as you bring the pelvis back this time, look down. So you curl the spine inwards and your palms open. And continue like this. You'll feel it in the wrists. It's lovely for the ribs and shoulders as well. You could even straighten that front leg if that feels nice. Breathing. So I haven't done this for ages, and I can really feel my wrists today, my shoulders. So I'm very sympathetic with anyone who's finding this quite tricky, like my partner here. You might notice with time that your palms come a little bit closer together, perhaps, as you reach forwards. I like to imagine the movement of the hands as delicate as the wings of a butterfly, very light. Okay, let's just maybe doing one more. Then you can release your hands, maybe circle the wrists, clench and open the hands as you come to the other side. So we start with the beach ball, stabilizing in that front foot. And when you're ready, floating the pelvis forwards as you float your arms up, maybe a little behind you, and back again. If your neck allows it, you follow your fingers with the eyes. Looking good. This is quite a good movement in which to notice where there's restriction, where there's obstruction. And just to notice your frame of mind when you encounter that. When you're ready, come to the other version. Arms out, take your hands behind you, and continue in your own time. Butterfly wings for hands, opening and closing. As you move the pelvis, the legs, and the spine. Breathe. And just taking one more. Will you release your arms, roll the shoulders, circle the wrists. And in your own time, slide yourself back into a downward dog. And take 5 breaths here, expansive, long in the side waist, side of the body. Your heels could be lifted, they could be down, your knees could be bent. Just feel the whole body with the breath. And taking a full breath in and a long breath out. Looking towards your hands and walking your feet and your hands in towards each other. So we come into Uttanasana, feet are parallel, about hip distance apart. You don't need your legs to be straight. But I would like you to have a sense of the whole of the upper body pouring down towards the floor. And if it's hard for you to fold in on yourself with your feet closer together, take them a little wider apart. So you can just allow the whole of the upper body to fall in between the legs. Lovely. And breathe here. Beautiful. And then with your fingertips either on the floor or on your shins, as you breathe in, you're going to straighten your legs and bring your heart forwards and up. And breathe out, fold again. Drawing your navel in towards the spine, your chin to your chest. And take 2 or 3 more of these movements between half forward fold and full forward fold. And then one of these times, knees bent, pressing your feet into the floor, inhaling, come all the way up, sweeping your arms out. Maybe your palms meet, and exhaling, hands to the heart. Wonderful. Interlacing your hands together over the heart space. Inhale. And as you exhale, push your hands out in front of you. On the next breath in, you lift your arms up, palms facing the ceiling. And exhale, really press into your heels as you reach the hands up. Lovely and long. We're looking for length. You could wriggle around a little bit. If it just doesn't work for your shoulders and wrists to have your hands together, you could separate your hands. And then looking ahead, keeping your eyes soft, inhale, lift your heels off the floor. Really reach as if you're trying to touch the ceiling. Exhale, slowly bring your heels down, slowly considered and conscious, and continue like this. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to come down. Until one of these times you might lift and you might want to stay up for 5 breaths. Encourage your tailbone down towards your heels as you do this. So the pelvis tilts back slightly. And smile and breathe. Take a full breath in and then lightly release back down, arms by your sides. You roll your shoulders. And we'll come into a balance, into Vrksasana tree pose. You can use the wall if you need to. So really rooting down, let's root down through the left leg. I'll try and mirror you. Just to begin with, we haven't done much hip opening externally. So just to begin with, notice how the right knee can move out to the side as you open the hip. And then decide, do you want the heel to stay into the lower ankle, the left ankle? Do you want the foot higher up the leg? Choose where you want to be. And bring your hands to your heart. So wherever your right foot is, you're pressing it against the left leg, and the left leg is pushing back. And a sense of drawing your 2 outer hips in towards the center. Only if you want to lift your arms up. I'm interlacing my fingers with the 4 fingers pointing towards the ceiling like a steeple. Breathe. Release the jaw, release the shoulders. Take a full breath in. And then lightly release your hands only back to your heart as you exhale. Take another breath in. As you exhale, bring the right knee forwards, float the foot down to the floor. Have a little shake of the left foot. And then we'll take that to the other side. Take your time. Remember just to open and close that left hip a few times first. And decide how high up the leg you're going to come. Take your time. Breathe. Only lifting your arms with the 4 fingers lifted, the other fingers enlaced, if that's right for you. Real strong connection between the lifted foot and the inside of the straight leg. The outside hips drawing into the center. Breathe and lengthen through the upper body. Take a full breath in. Exhale, hands back down. Take another breath in as you lift your knee. Exhale, float the foot down. Have a little shake. And then facing the front of your mat, please take your right foot behind you, just in a stride. You're not walking a tightrope. And you have a choice here. We're going to come back to what we were doing with our shoulders and hands. You have a choice of simply taking your hands to your lower back, or holding the elbows like this, or coming back into that version of reverse prayer with the back of the hands to the ribs. So we're doing what we did on our knees, but now standing in Warrior One. So as you bend into the front knee, the pelvis moves forwards. Allow your spine to roll back over your hands, maybe look towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, straighten the front leg. Release your torso down over the front leg and your palms open. Beautiful. So continue like this a few rounds, very steady. Very grounded through the feet. So we're actually moving between Virabhadrasana 1 variation, Warrior 1 variation, and Uttanasana, pyramid pose variation. Now it might be that you are really happy with this and you want to continue with these two poses, or you might like to join me coming back up, bending into the front knee as you lean your chest forwards and just come to the tip of your right big toe. Just feel the weight, where the weight's distributed. And it might be right for you this morning to float the back leg up into this variation of Virabhadrasana 3. Of course, if you want to, you could release your arms by your sides. And we'll move between these poses again. So the effort cranks up a bit. You might notice it affects your breath. How's your focus? If you love a Virabhadrasana 3, a Warrior 3, you might want to stay there for a few breaths. Taking one or two more. Lovely. So as you lift the back leg, I'm just watching, as you lift the back leg, keep the hip dropping towards the floor so that your pelvis remains level with the ceiling. That's better. So you're not tilting the pelvis. Much better. Okay, and then let's change sides. So taking the stride with the left foot back, the right foot forwards. And bringing your hands behind you in the way that is right for you, maybe holding the elbows. And we start with simply bending into the front knee, the back leg is straight, maybe look up towards the ceiling. And then straightening the front leg and pouring the upper body down over the front leg. Keep that right hip pulling back as you come down over the front leg. And move between the poses. Conscious of every sensation, every quality of sensation. And when you're ready, if you want to, adding Warrior 3. It'll feel different on this side. So by the way, when you come into Warrior 3 and you float up the back leg, it's absolutely fine to bend a little in the standing knee. Help you find stability. Continue in your own time. Just a couple more rounds. Fabulous. So good for the little muscles of your ankles and feet. So good for resilience in the legs. Just taking one more Warrior 3. Before you release, bring your feet together more or less and just have a little roll in the wrists and the shoulders, maybe a little shake actually. Maybe a shake of the legs. Actually, I'm going to just take a few flaps from side to side. Just let everything go, all that effort, all that focus. Beautiful. And then please come to kneel on the floor. That's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, you can kneel up high. See what's good for you. If you're not good on your knees at all, you could do what we're about to do standing. Taking a moment to settle, because I feel a bit agitated from that standing sequence. Agitated is a bit strong, but just noticing your breath. And then again, so we're doing quite a lot with the shoulders and the wrists. If you can, interlace your hands behind your back. Again, you could just take your hands to your lower back if that's more available to you. And we're going to take another mudra, not a hand gesture, but a mudra with a whole body. It's called Yoga Mudra. And I'll demonstrate it once and then you can join in. On a breath in, you take your chest forwards and your arms behind you. So another little squeeze of the shoulder blades, chin towards the ceiling. Actually just breathe in and then take as many breaths as you want to lower the belly, lower the chest. Your forehead, top of the head will roll onto the floor and your arms will come with you. So eventually all of that coming down will be one exhale. And you very slowly come back on the inhale. But sometimes that's just not enough breath. So just join in when you want to and find your own way of breathing. Really feeling the weight through the top of your head, opening the back of your neck. Maybe your arms come over, maybe they don't. Yeah, and you can do the same thing standing. Exactly. Bend your knees and come over. Exactly. Let's just do 3 more. And when you take your last one, coming back, releasing your hands, maybe squeezing the wrists. Just noticing how you feel here. For those of you who rolled your head on the floor, feeling sensations in the head. Noticing the quality of your breath. And then please coming back up to lie on your backs with your knees bent, feet on the floor. Taking your arms out wide now in a T shape. And just because we can, because we started the class like this, just taking a couple of those pelvic clocks, but only from 12 to 6 to begin with. Just noticing how you feel in the spine and the pelvis. And then you could take a couple from 9 to 3 as well, pressing into the feet. So it's just very brief, just to come back to that starting point. And then please walk your feet wide, so the width of your mat, and allow your knees to flop into the center. And then slide the right knee down towards the left instep, and your left knee will fall out to the side involuntarily. You can take your eyes to the right. We're ending with a very, very gentle rotation. And then bring your left knee up to the top, your head to the top, and continue to slide the left knee down towards the right instep, your eyes to the left. And continue a few of these very silky movements that are flossing into the hips and releasing residual tension in the spine. Very lazy. If you get over to one side and you want to stay there, you could stay there. And in your own time, doing whatever you need to do to prepare for Shavasana. You might want to bring your knees into your chest. Have a little roll around. Make sure you're warm enough. And allow your body to settle on the mat. Maximum comfort. So we're back where we started after quite a varied practice today. Noticing now how your body meets the floor. Aware of any sensations that are calling to you. Aware of the quality of your breath. And I'll read a poem I quite often read by Mary Oliver, just to leave you after that in quietness. Today I'm flying low and I'm not saying a word. I'm letting all the voodoos of ambition sleep. The world goes on as it must, the bees in the garden rumbling a little, the fish leaping, the gnats getting eaten, and so forth. But I'm taking the day off, quiet as a feather. I hardly move, though really I'm traveling a terrific distance. Stillness, one of the doors into the temple. And of course, you're welcome to rest for as long as you like. I'm going to finish now. If you're ready to come out, beginning to take a few slightly deeper breaths, feeling the rise and fall of your abdomen with the breath. Maybe gently rolling your head from side to side, rubbing your hands vigorously to take them over your eyes. And introducing any gentle movement that brings you softly, delicately back into moving on into your day. And when you come up to sitting, if you're ready, like I said, there's no hurry, just taking a moment, maybe with your eyes closed, to simply consciously acknowledge how you're feeling before you move on with what you've got to move on with. Maybe recalling any intention you set for the practice and for your day. And then taking a full breath into the heart. And as you breathe out, bowing your head, exhale. And inhaling, lifting your head, opening your eyes. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Namaste.